Chapter 7 Presentation Managing Stress and the Work-Life Balance. Stress defined. Stress. A person's response to a stimulus that replaces excessive demand on their mind or body. A stimulus, also called a stressor, can be just about anything that induces stress. Stress can affect different people in different ways, depending on how that person adapts. The stress process. General Adaptation Syndrome, or GAS. It defines the 3 stages of response to stress: alarm, resistance, and exhaustion. There are 2 types of stress, and not all stress is bad or bad for you. Distress. Bad stress that brings negative effects or events. Address. Good stress that brings positive effect or events. Type A and B personality profiles. Now, when it comes to stress, there are 2 types of personalities. Type A is extremely competitive, highly committed to work, and have a strong sense of time urgency. Type B, on the other hand, is less competitive, less committed to work, and has a weak sense of time urgency. Hardness and optimism. Hardness is a person's ability to cope with stress. A person's hardness is important when people work with high-stress jobs. Optimism, the extent on how a person sees life in a positive or negative light. The term cup half full or half empty comes to mind with this term. Organizational stressors. There are many types of organizational stressors. 2 of them are task demands and physical demands. Task demands are stressors associated with the specific job a person performs. Depending on how stressful the job is, affects how much a person can perform a certain task. Physical demands are stressors associated with the job's physical setting. Example of a physical demand can be the temperature or lighting that comes with a certain job. The other 2 organizational stressors are role demands and interpersonal demands. Role demands are stressors associated with the role a person plays. Role, a set of behaviors associated with a position in a group. Role ambiguity arises when a role is unclear, and role overload occurs when the expectation of a role is exceeded. On the other hand, interpersonal demand stressors associated with group pressure, leadership, and personality conflict. Life stressors. There are 2 types of life stressors: life change and life trauma. With life change, any meaningful change in a person's personal or work situation. However, too many life changes in a short amount of time can result into health problems. Life trauma, on the other hand, any upheaval in a person's life that alters their personality. Life trauma is never good for a person's personality, even in little dosages, unlike life change. Individual consequences. Stress may produce behavioral, psychological, and medical consequences in an individual's life. Behavioral consequences are stress that may harm the person under the stress or others. Psychological consequences is stress that hinders a person's mental health and well-being. And then medical consequences, stress that harms a person's physical health. Organizational consequences. In an organization, the consequences affect different things, such as performance, withdrawal, and attitude. Organization puts too much stress and consequences against someone's performance in a group or workspace. If there is too much stress in an organization, then withdrawal becomes a problem for a person's job. Another problem with an organization is the attitude that comes with the workers being too stressed. Burnout. Burnout is a general feeling of exhaustion that develops when a person's experienced too much pressure and has few resources of satisfaction. People with high expectations and strong motivation are usually the victims of a burnout. Individual coping strategies. There are many different types of individual coping strategies. Two of them are exercise and time management. People who exercise are more likely to handle large amounts of stress. Research also shows that people who exercise have less stress and tension in their body. Time management usually helps stop stress before it becomes a major problem for a person. People with good time management skills usually are less stressed because they have time to relax. The other two individual coping strategies is relaxation and support groups. Relaxation is another way of coping with stress. Things such as meditation or giving yourself a small break to breathe can help with stress. Support groups are usually the last resort for an individual to cope with the stress. A group of family or friends are usually what makes up a support group. Organizational coping strategies. There are two basic coping strategies for helping employees manage stress. Collateral programs help deal with stress by making programs that help and teach employees how to deal with stress. For example, management and health promotion programs. Institutional programs help deal with the stress through establishing organizational mechanisms, for example, a properly designed work schedule. Fundamental work-life relationship. Work-life relationship is a relationship that is both in a person's work life and personal life. A work-life relationship is usually friends that are made at work or marrying a person from work. This is how most people meet in life and become a partner or a friend.